Good evening. Let's get right to tonight's top story. The Mississippi Emergency Management Agency is reporting 12 people are dead in the aftermath of a day of tornadoes. That number may continue to rise. Yesterday's devastating storm affected major parts of Mississippi and Alabama. As you can see in this video, Tupelo experienced significant damage. The National Weather Service says that the tornado was at least an EF2. In Louisville, the tornado was even more damaging at an EF4. Tonight, we have a team coverage ranging from Tupelo to Louisville and even here in Oxford. Now let's go to reporter Justin Baker in the Stormwatch Center.
According to the National Weather Service, the threat of severe weather remains for many areas throughout the state. As you can see in this image, a tornado watch has been issued for the areas circled in red until 9 p.m. tonight. Tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, and strong winds are all possibilities. Areas from Meridian to Hattiesburg can expect to see the highest chance of destructive tornadoes. Newswatch will keep you updated as we continue to monitor the situation. Stay tuned for your local forecast later in the show.
At least 9 people died in the small town of Louisville, Mississippi last night. The tornado that blasted through the community is believed to have been an EF4, just one level down from the most powerful of all. Louisville is about 2 hours south of Oxford, and that's where Newswatch reporters Leah Gibson and Gabriel Austin headed at 6 a.m. this morning to gather information about the impact on the town. Gabriel has our story.
Cars were backed up in both directions on Main Street in Louisville as many people were out looking at the aftermath of a tornado that touched down last night, some even taking pictures of the damages.
Just hours after the tornado that hit Louisville, Mississippi, the scene behind me resembles that of a movie. And the impact here is not just felt in monetary damages that have been caused to houses and many other things throughout the community.
No. Just take too much to put everything back together, all the stuff that you had, and like I said, the lady that owned the daycare, Miss Ruth, she's gone.
The majority of buildings along the tornado's path were either damaged heavily or completely destroyed. Some roads were virtually closed due to downed power lines in the road and trees that made driving nearly impossible. The cleaning up process has begun here in the small town, but even after the mounds of debris are gone, the impact of last night's storm is sure to leave a lasting impression on the community. For Newswatch, I'm Gabriel Austin.
Tonight, the city of Tupelo is still reeling from the barrage of tornadoes that started hitting just after 2 p.m. yesterday afternoon. Within minutes of the first touchdown, Newswatch reporter Ian Cowart headed to cover the impact of the devastating storm. With a police escort helping him along the way, Ian takes us on tour of some of the worst damage.
Within hours of the tornado touching down, crews were already on the scene helping to pick up the pieces of the city. The twister cut a wide swath along North Gloucester Street, one of the town's main roadways. Several businesses were wiped out, but most of the employees were able to escape unharmed.
At one point, you're looking around and all these buildings were standing, and then you look around again and they're all gone. So what can you say about that? But the good thing about it, we all survived. By the grace of God, we're all still here. Still here, still able to talk about it, still able to look around.
Power outages affected large areas of the city, and the rain continued to add to the damage with torn-off roofs, leaving belongings open to the elements. The images tell some of the story, but it's not until you get up and close that you get a sense of the storm's power.
As you can tell from behind me, the tornado that wreaked havoc in Tupelo has caused a tremendous amount of damage.
This was my shop. It's pretty much devastated right now. It's a terrible situation. I mean, I've never been through anything like it before. I've never seen this much damage firsthand before. It was 10 minutes before all of these buildings were standing, and we were out here watching the skies and the weather, and then it hit, and nothing's left.
In addition to the destruction at the Haviland Express, a local liquor store, hotels, and an Outback Steakhouse all suffered damage. We won't know for some time how long it will take to rebuild. For Newswatch, I'm Ian Cowart.
Today, Newswatch returned to Tupelo for an update on recovery updates. Reporter Brittany Clark spent the day with some volunteers.
A major part of the recovery effort involves getting people who've lost everything back on their feet. The Red Cross is often one of the first to step in to provide help. About 71 people in Tupelo spent the night at a Red Cross shelter. Today, I went to the shelter to see what people in the area need.
So by 6 to 8 o'clock, we had this facility open, and we started to bring supplies. We brought cots and blankets, and the kinds of things that people would need to sleep on overnight. We've also got food, water.
The toughest thing we had last night was baby bottles and baby formula. But with the help of the local hospital, they were able to get us a couple supplies like that, so we were able to help the infants. We had an autistic boy. We went all over Tupelo. There was a curfew on at 9, and we finally found, he only would eat a hot dog with mustard, so we finally found one hot dog and some mustard, and we got that to him. The people today are pumping up the supplies to keep the shelter active and running, because even though we've had some people leave, if we have another wave like we had last night, we're preparing for that. And we've been going out now to the individual communities, the smaller communities. So we've been through like Guntown, Centerville, Mentachie, Ratliff Community, and Auburn, and those kind of places, trying to get them, keep them hydrated, because today is pretty hot compared to what it has been. Any phone calls that come in and people, are specifically asking for us or any of our services, we're going directly to them.
As we look in the next couple days with clearer weather and we're able to go back into the communities, we'll set up emergency aid stations in areas that have been most affected.
Red Cross volunteers may have their work cut out for them for some time, since an estimated 500 businesses and 200 homes were damaged or destroyed by the tornado. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Brittany. According to a statement from the university, families of some faculty, staff, and students have been deeply affected by yesterday's severe storms. The aunt of journalism student Kels Johnson was killed in Louisville yesterday. According to the Associated Press, 53-year-old Ruth Bennett died while holding on to the last child left at her daycare center. The child was taken to the hospital, but no updates are available at this time. Meanwhile, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Tupelo native John Servati was killed while reportedly saving the life of his girlfriend. According to ESPN, he died after a retaining wall in the basement of his home collapsed. Servati was 21 years old. If you are interested in donating money or blood to help storm victims through the American Red Cross Disaster Relief, please call, click, or text to donate. You can call at 1-800-RED-CROSS or donate online at redcross.org. On your mobile device, text the word Red Cross to 90999 to make a one-time $10 donation to disaster relief. For blood donations, please visit msblood.com. Meanwhile, the threat of severe weather persists. Justin Baker has more in the Storm Watch Center.
It seems like the weather has calmed down a lot since last night's storms, but many areas remain under a tornado watch. Stay tuned for the complete forecast when Storm Watch returns.